But
You're
we are here to celebrate
welcome.
our friendship, our collaboration, and our passion for tarot. Because
Yeah,
after all these years that we are writing, and I mean, after Portland, we met in real life, I always have this idea to, I mean, I met a lot of people in the tarot community, and I
hmm
always wanted to collaborate, creating something special for the person that are more special to me. And so for this project, of course, John Matthews, you, Sasha, I said, I really want to collaborate with them. And so it was really, really a pleasure when you accepted the collaboration and we started to create something for this very unusual project, because I don't know if everyone knows the story. Is the name of the project is The Book of Shadows, an Alchemist story.
yeah,
And it's a deck of tarot, is
yeah.
a graphic novel that becomes a book of magic and then a film. I decided to use the graphic novel as a language because it works in the same way of tarot. When you have a sequence of tarot cards, we create a story. And the graphic novel is working the same way. We have sequence of frames, and from frames to frames, you create a story.
Uh-huh.
Then,
Oh, you stop. Oh,
no, I'm here. Yeah, so maybe sometimes the connection can be a little bit
yeah,
strange. They are doing
yeah.
some works here with Virgin, so it's anyway, the heat of London is melting everything. And anyway, so it's fantastic. I think that if you want to talk, I mean, if I want to talk about tarot and the magic, I have to use a different language, a language that is more fantastic, more open to fantasy. That is the reason why I use at the end the formula of the graphic novel. And I'm really happy that you are one of the character of the graphic novels.
I
You are
am very
there.
happy
So
that you asked me. I was very excited and very happy when you contacted me, and I was like, graphic novel. I love graphic novel. Love, 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 love. I grew up. I'm a big art collector, art fan, and most of the people, actually, most of us in the tarot community love art. Most of us
yeah.
are creative, are artistic, love art, love history, love all that kind of stuff. So when you told me there's a graphic novel, and I'm like, yeah. So thank you so much for thinking about me. That
I
it means
I
a lot.
didn't know it because I was there. I said, do I send the email? I send it, I don't send it. I send it. You know, when you don't know what to do, because I said, yes, I feel it is right. I really want you. But then I said, it's the graphic novel. I don't know what he will think about. Maybe she will think that I'm crazy. Well, everyone thinks that I'm crazy, but it's good, but in a good way, not in
We're
the
all
bad
crazy.
way. Otherwise, no, but it was fun. It was great. But I don't want to say what you wrote, what you said in the graphic novel, because it would be like moving, spoil the game. But there are something when we discuss before working and everything, there is some of our part of our discussion that I think it would be very interesting to share with people here. And what things that really, really resonate with me is when you said that we have to leave space when we read tarot to our intuition, to our imagination, what you say with our gut. And you call it in a way, wait, I sign it here. You said the magic sparkle, if I remember right. You call it the magic sparkle, and we have to keep the magic sparkle. Please tell me something about it, because I really love this idea.
When you hold anything, like let's say I'm holding this rock, and you feel something, and you just something goes like this inside you, like this is that spark that's inside you that make you feel things. Even if you're holding a menu, a restaurant menu, and you're looking at what you want to eat, and then your eye falls on an item on the menu, and you just have that little tingle. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna order this. This is it. This is that magic spark that we should really look deeper in it, and see it working within us. And because most of us just take it for granted and just think like, yeah, this is nothing, this is what I thought. But no, it's actually, you make a connection of, this is when, oh, you want to eat this, you know what I mean? And then sometime you get that little on that, and then your brain goes, and you're like, no, 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 I think I'm gonna take this instead of this. I'm gonna take that pasta instead of this appetizer, forever. Your mind. And then when the pasta comes in, and you're like eating, you're like, I should have listened to myself and got the other one because I'm in the mood for the other one. And this is where you find out when we don't listen to that little magic spark. You know, this is how you see it working in everyday life. It's we all have it. We all of us have it, and we all use it. Or we go against it, and then we say, "Ah, I should have done this. I thought about it, and I didn't do it." That's it. Is that little tingle? It's a very tiny tingle, but you know, the more you pay attention to it, the more you're gonna feel that tingle is actually getting a bigger, like a spark. You feel it more because you start paying attention to it. The more you pay attention to it, the more you start choosing things that doesn't let you say, "Oh, I should have." You're like, "Ah, I hit that. This is on the spot. This is amazing."
I
So
cannot
yeah.
agree more. It's absolutely fantastic what you said, and it's very interesting because if I have to compare, let's say, I think about myself and my life. When I was a child, everything was magical, fantastic, because I have a mother that was a tarot reader, so she was bringing a lot of magic things inside our life, a lot of
Uh-huh.
ritual, very interesting, very spooky, old ancient Italian, North Italian ritual. So I grew up in this kind of atmosphere, and it was incredible. But then when you grow up, you start study, you start to see the world. I don't want to see cooler and cooler, but let's say the feel of magic is a little bit lost here and there. It becomes more rational. Then you study something. I mean, I study philosophy, ancient Greek. I mean, something that is very technical too. But then when I started to be an artist and I started to create my tarot as an artist, everything opened up again. It's very interesting how we lose the inner child, or let's say we muffle it. We don't listen it anymore. And I think what I want to do when I create my tarot, or I give a tarot reading, because then is the same thing, is try to open like a portal or a rabbit hole when someone can fall into it like Alice in Wonderland and discover another place. So just for a moment, perceive a little bit of magic. And I think this is something that now we need even more, because
It's
otherwise
great. It
it's
is. It is. It is.
too much rationality.
Yes.
Is cold, and I mean, it's not that I want to kill rationality, but I like to live like the double standard. You can give an explanation that is physical, or I mean, I see a ghost. Oh no, it's not a ghost, it's just a reflection. But it's nice to entertain the idea that it's a real ghost. What I see, it can be more meaningful. And if I open other windows to create better other things, it would be better. I mean, I never have an experience reading the menu because I always very, very focused in what I want to order. But I have the same feeling when, when you are walking the street and you
Mhm.
decide to go in one direction instead of another, you feel that you have to go in that direction and you don't know why, but you do it.
Mhm.
And when you do it, you discover something more, something that is interesting for you at that moment, something that is pivotal. And I like when this happens. I think we have to learn to listen more to this kind of intuitions.
It is very important for me to have that balance, and this is how I raise my voice, to have the balance of both the material and the spiritual, the rational and the woo-woo stuff, so they can like have the both balance and do both. And I think it's very important not to be like to be kind of like in the middle. And this is like when it's perfect, and you will have a better understanding of everything, and a better understanding of how to navigate life. I mean, nobody's going to have a better understanding until like the day we die. But you know, we try,
Yeah.
and we strive to have a better. And every day in our life, we have a little bit more experience to help us a little bit more on our path. But when we are like what I was trying to say is when we have the middle, that middle balance, when we are on our path, it helps us like through our challenges. It helps us through anything that comes to life. It helps us navigate it a little bit. Not It's not wiser, and not maybe a little more accepting, more understanding, with more understanding. It's not going to be easier. When you're going through pain, you're going through pain. but maybe if you accept a little bit, you understand why, you understand how, you understand all the different layers and all that kind of stuff. And this is what actually tarot, when we're like going through challenges and you pull cards and it gives you all these layers and helps you understand. And this is an amazing tool. Tarot cards, oracle, anything you like to use, anything for you to connect to your mainframe, that
Yeah.
you're on Google. It will just help you navigate a little bit.
I completely forgot of your expression about the Google of the soul. I really like this idea that tarot is, you use
Yeah,
tarot like you use Google. You pose a question, you research, you're doing. When
yeah,
I heard you say this expression the first time, I smile, I laugh because it's
yeah,
so immediate, but it's so real. Because at the end, you pose a question. So yes, it's your, let's say, the
yeah,
Google of the soul, the Google of your
yeah,
spirit, and it's really, really great. But you have to pay attention because Google sometimes give you fake news. So you have to balance everything. No, but I like it. I like the metaphor. It's very deep, it's very interesting, it's very bright. I love it. I completely forgot. Thank you for forgot it. So thank you for reminding us of it. No, I think the balance is very, very important. Above all, in this period of time, it is quite strange and quite peculiar. And I think that every time, I mean, we use tarot in different circumstances where you suffer, try to understand your suffering, and try to let's say to sedate the suffering, or try to understand it better. When you're happy, why you're happy, why you go, because you want to create something more, you have a doubt, or creative tools. I use tarot a lot of time to create a story. For some of the characters of the graphic novel, I said, just as I don't want to say it's a joke, but it's an experiment. I say, okay, I need the supervillain. I draw 4 cards, and the 4 cards would be the psychology of the supervillain. And then I draw it following the suggestion of the cards, and it works very well because it forces you not to go in the stereotype, but of the evil character in the superhero and whatever, but you have different setting, and with that setting, you have to create something new. And I like to work in that way. For me, it was really inspirational, really, really
hmm
great. Then
hmm
I like something that you said many times and you wrote many times, that is, whenever we read tarot, of course, we agree on the meaning of the tarot, of the
hmm
specific card and everything. So it's like there is, I would like to say Latin vulgata, something that is accepted by everyone, like the correct meaning. But I think that if we stick to the correct meaning, it's like reciting something like the list of the errands that you have to do.
hmm hmm
Is called, it is not something living, it's something that stay there, but it's not something inside yourself. You don't make it yours. While if you start with the recognized meaning and then you navigate from there to deep waters and you explore and you allow yourself to open the door of intuition, of let yourself land in new, explore new lands. I think is important. I think it's fascinating.
100%. It is. Look, the meanings of the tarot are amazing and they are a perfect guideline, and we need them. We need them. We need to know what the hangman is about. We need to know what the four of cups is about. It's 100%. We need to know what the 10 of wands is about, or the 10 of swords. So those core meanings, I tell everybody with tarot, with Lenormand, with anything that you're studying, study the core meaning to the fullest. Understand them, study them, make them become like engraved in you. But then after that, when you're actually in the real life, you need to use that spark that we talked about. You need to use you with the meaning, combine them together, and it's just like a springboard that you fly off, and you come up with your own, whatever the context and the situation for that for that moment. Because that moment, that card, let's say let's say 10 of swords, right? um for one moment it can be, that's it, you're done,
Yeah,
stop beating the dead horse. For another moment it could be like, you're at your worst right now, it's time for you to get up. You hit rock bottom, that's it, it's time for you to get up.
yeah,
And another time it could be, yeah,
Yeah. No,
You
I,
are healing at the hardest place right now.
yeah.
You need to take your time and feel it all. So it all depends on the context and the moment and the client or the person you're reading in front of you. And the most important thing, your magic, your spark, your what you feel inside you at that moment. It just comes to you what to say, and you have to trust and believe of what you're feeling and what you see at that moment. And you know what? Sometimes the meaning you get comes from the picture only, and it could be so off what the actual core meaning. And this is where I say, please trust you. And this only you will only become really amazing is when you do a lot of trial and error and when you do a lot of practice.
Yeah.
And but I want to say something. I'm so excited about this project. This project is fun, is very original, very really. It's something like everybody in our tarot community and all the metaphysical and the spiritual community should be like, I think it should be like in a movie, should be used in a movie or something, because it's so original and quirky and it's just like, whoa, what's going on there. It's intriguing, and it's kind of like I read a few pages and what I was allowed to read.
Yeah, you will
And
soon
I was
have
like,
everything.
ooh, ooh, I
No,
want to know. Okay, I want the next page. It's really,
I draw a random card just now from the
yeah,
document. This is the back. It's the back that you should know very well. I mean, no, because the Classica Sapientia, the city of the tarot, the city of knowledge that I invented years ago for my art and my process. And then is the Two of Cups. I think it's the perfect card for this moment. I love it.
yes, I
I
love
just
it.
opened the
Sharing
deck like that,
emotion
so
and
interesting.
sharing
I
it.
mean, another cup. You see the first of cup, the Ace of Cup.
Oh,
No, when you said something, something that is really, you said before, sorry, something that really is really important to me. When you said sometimes the images open new door, new windows in your intuition. I think that for me, the first thing that is really, really important in a tarot deck, the one that I see, one that I do, something that I want to buy, is the graphic, the images. If they are too messy and you have to squeeze too much your brain to understand something, I don't like it. If they are too easy and there is no space to create anything, I don't like it either. But I like when there is enough to let your fantasy go wild. When every day is beautiful, whenever you have a tarot deck that you like, and every time you take the same card, you see something completely different. Or
yeah.
details that you haven't noticed before, colors that your eyes never captured before the same way the time before. And I think this is what make fascinating, a deck fascinating. This maybe is the reason why I love your deck for this reason. I love this Lenormand because it's very peculiar. You don't fall just in another, in a world of tarot, but we fall in another time, in another era, in another culture, one that I deeply love and I resonate with. So it's really, really interesting.
I'm gonna pull a card from my deck. That's right here. Ooh, and I got the three from my deck,
I
which
love
means
it.
growth and stability. So,
And shade
and
from the alt.
yeah, being, unwavering.
Oh, thank you. I like
So,
this processing of taking cards and see what happened. Oh yes, this card. I love it. It's fantastic. I have a discussion with a dear friend of mine in Italy before coming here. Maybe it's year two. Yes, if it's the same Vincent, we have this amazing discussion where we were talking and drawing cards using like a tool for the discussion. And it was incredibly deep, incredibly amazing. I really love to have conjunct reading when we together we ask a question and then the two people try to understand the cards giving a meaning. And so I jump in the first level, then the other person go deeper, and then I go deeper again, and then we have intuition and we combine. It's like a magical ritual. It's like a sabbath which is around the cauldron creating something even more, deeper and deeper and deeper. And I love it. I don't know if you ever tried something
yeah,
like that. I love it.
Yeah. That's why. And I've noticed like there's, some people might like simple, some people might like it. It depends on what your eyes and what your intuition and what your enjoy. And some people might like for example, Marseille deck, and it's amazing. And some people only like old, very, very old decks. And some people like the decks that are like really, really packed. And some of them are amazing. Like, I don't know if you know the Pearls of Wisdom. It's really packed there. And every time you see it, you're like, whoa, you're like going into a psychedelic thing, but it's
Yeah,
amazing because it gives amazing reading. I said the deck gives amazing. No, the deck does not give amazing reading. You're the one that give amazing reading. Your connection to the deck what gives amazing reading. That's why when you see something and it calls to you, that mean it is, you're gonna have a good connection. And when you have a good connection, that mean this is like your key, your doorway into
yeah,
your deeper ability, your superpower ability. Like it unlocks you.
yeah.
Whatever, it's just a tool that unlocks you. And it could be, rocks, it could be a piece of paper, it could be a deck, or it could be charms. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I agree. I agree. There is something that always happened to me whenever I mean, I like teaching tarot. I have people I'm teaching tarot to, and something that really struck me every time when they are completely new about tarot, whenever they see a card that they think that is negative or scary, oh, this is a bad card. And no, no, there are no something like a bad card. There are just cards. Then it can be, I mean, the meaning. If you call bad something that you don't like, well, call it bad. But it's not that the tarot can tell you just what you want to hear or like, what you like. It's something, I mean, is in between. And I like this idea. And I don't know if it's happened to you too. When you have to create a tarot deck, try to create the cards in such a way that is more evident the balance between a positive meaning of the say cards and the negative one, like the Ten of Swords.
Yeah.
I don't know if I found it here now. Let me look. But I really love the Ten of Swords, and you mentioned it, so it came into my mind now. And it's very interesting how many people give it a very negative, bad interpretation. Of course, now it will be the last card of the deck because it's
I
always
mean,
bad.
the Ten of Swords, for example, Jamie Sawyer depicted it as somebody doing acupuncture, and somebody else depicted it as the Caesar, being stabbed, and somebody else. So there's so many different, and you know what you're saying about the positive and negatives. We're talking about dualities. Yes, bring it closer.
Yep, I don't know if you see it. Now
Yeah.
there is a little bit of reflection. I have the window on my right, so I try to capture a little bit of light, but not too much. I wanted here to try to create the ambivalence to convey the ambivalence of the cards. You
But
have
at the
this,
same time, still feel the ominous. You
yes,
feel
you
the
feel the
ominous.
omens, but there is the
Mm,
light of the sun. And the
mm,
sun is on the horizon, is rising or is going. I mean, it
mm,
depends of the interpretation you gave of the cards. It's a tempest sky, but it's a
mm.
clearing too. So I
Yeah.
try to convey that in this little detail on the horizon with the clearing of the clouds and everything. But when it would be printed and printed very well, I think people
Yeah.
would be easy. This is just a test, a digital test. So I'm
Yeah.
really happy because it's good as a color and everything, but it will be offset. I mean, a professional printing, the stock will be better. The cards will be more luminous and the colors too. So I'm looking forward to have the final version of
Yeah,
the
I'm
cards. I mean,
looking
to
forward
print
to get
it.
my copy.
Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to give you a copy because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you are there, but then there is what I really, I mean, it's a big challenge because I don't think someone did something like that before. I
A
mean,
lot
graphic
of
novel
them.
about tarot, yes, I guess so. It's not the first one, but I wanted to create a book of magic in the shape of a graphic novel. So learning tarot while reading the graphic novel, while reading the tome of the Alchemist, the famous tome of the Alchemist that I created years ago for an exhibition about tarot and alchemy, when every single page, now let me open, is ink work. And then so the real ink is nothing is digital here. And then I aged the paper and the drawing
I
and everything.
love this.
And every single page is connected to a story connected to tarot, to occult, to fantasy. So now I try to, yes, okay, otherwise the color are they're not ugly. They are very nice reddish. No, because there is a reflection.
No,
It's
they're
like a
beautiful.
brownish, and I say it's not brown. My
No,
beautiful
no, no,
red
no,
is
it's
not there.
beautiful.
Sorry, I'm so
I know.
obsessed by colors that every time I see a picture of my painting, I spend hours trying to, this is not the red that is in the painting. And I say, oh, the yellow, oh, this yellow is ugly. And everyone, no, it's nice. No, it's not that. So anyway, I'm obsessed by the color and everything. And
I, I love it. I love the quirkiness and the very like it's fun, it's original, and it's mysterious at the same time. And this is what I like it.
and
I wanna go back to the Ten of Swords and the duality. And when you said there is no good card and there is no bad card, but there is good card and there is bad card. And this is, talking about the duality of the world, because really nothing really ends. You get to the Ten of Swords and you start all over again. The hero's journey. It's just always, it's always in motion, like you go up and down and up and down. Nothing really, really ends. And having something bad is only a perspective, right? It's a perspective because,
exactly.
good is on. I have my boy was explaining that there is no duality, but the duality exists on this plane. But the higher you go, the duality becomes, it's like a triangle and it becomes one. It's a one thing, black and white, and you go, and then there is no
Yeah.
color doesn't. So it's all kind of needed and the same. And for us to understand all of this. So the Ten of Swords is a very important card.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that because I mean, it's one of the cards that I love more to draw. And so when you mention it, I said, oh, is this that casual? Of course not, but it's interesting. The Ten of Swords is a card that I really love. So I spend a lot of time because, sometimes you have a drawing, you have an intuition, you follow your intuition. And of course, when you draw, I always have my pencil in my hand, as you see, and I always draw. So it's a black pencil. So, and then you start to imagine the color and see and everything. Then you bring everything over your iPad or whatever you use to draw, if you draw on canvas or whatever. And then you start the nice drawing, the perfect drawing, and then the coloring process. And that is another level, because changing one color change completely the mood of the card, changing the point of light, changing a little bit. I mean, is interesting. And for me, this is the first deck that when I use all colors, because all my other decks were almost black and white, or just like the Tome of the Alchemist, yellowish paper and inkwork, black and red. So at this time, I really wanted to create something more magical, but because the challenge that I wanted to face this time is different, I really want to create like an open book. A book, I don't know if you ever read the Neverending Story. When I was a kid,
Yeah,
there is a
you
famous
were
film.
gone for a bit. I was like, I didn't
Oh,
hear anything.
sorry. Yeah,
Yeah, they were
I
gone.
said I wanted to create something really special. It is the reason why I use all my colors, all the colors this time. I don't know if you ever read the book The Neverending Story. There was a
Never
beautiful film in the 80s.
sorry.
Exactly that one. When the book is fantastic because is a book, but when you read it, you have another level. There is the level of the reader to fall inside the story. And then when you read the book, you almost expect and wait to fall inside the story. And I mean, it's a book, but I wanted to create this kind of feeling. So to give an open book of magic, that when you read it, you don't have all the answer. You have to create the answer. You have to create your own story. There are mysteries that you have to solve. So this is the reason why I really wanted to mix the graphic novel with magical writing. So there is John Matthews that wrote the meaning of the cards, and there is your magical writing. There is Sasha one, and everything is connected and interconnected. And when you have finished the story, even if it's a fictional story, you have, I think, a deeper understanding of the tarot. John that saw the graphic novel, because I mean, being in London was easier to go there with my iPad and show it to him because it's not printed, it's a big file. So he was mesmerized by it because he said, wow, I love the idea that through fiction you can interpret and understand our reality. And I said, exactly what I want to do, exactly what I would like to offer. A book of magic that is not just, this is the meaning of the Ten of Swords, this is how to use it. You find that too, but then you find all around the doors, that if you open them, you can plunge in other realities. It's a big
Yeah.
challenge, I know, but let's see what happens when people, we have the film, the book, the graphic novel, the deck, everything is connected, the music, and they can play with it.
So
And
let's explain to everybody. So first you have the graphic novel. Like what
yeah,
is the first? Like the graphic novel. Then you have
let's
the
say,
deck.
yeah, the book, well, it's strange to see. Technically came first the deck, but then while drawing the deck, I created my parallel world with all the characters, the stories were forming in my mind. So I decided to give shape to the
The
Tome of the
graphic.
Alchemy. From the
Uh-huh.
Tome of the Alchemy, I originated the film to explain all the magic in it, like in the shape of interviews. And in the interviews, there is Mary Greer, there are professors doing film from BBC, so very famous historians and I mean serious people talking
Yeah.
about my creation as it were real. But then I wanted to connect everything, and so the graphic novel came along. And so the graphic novel is 200 pages of tarot mini story, exploration of tarot and the meaning of tarot and the role of magic via fantasy, our imagination, the power of imagination. What is reading tarot? Is give free, set free your imagination. Call it imagination, intuition, whatever you want, but instead is going into, as I would say, regress to the inner child, open the door to the inner child to be finally free and play with life, play with reality. And I think this is what I like when I create something. I mean, people don't understand why I spend the day and many, many nights in creating my art and my things. I mean, really, day and nights, because when you're in the zone, it's like playing. How can you
Yeah.
say a
So
child, I am not tired of playing? No, you
yeah.
will never be tired. It's so beautiful. It's such an amazing, I don't know, it's a moment of intuition. It's a moment of deep connection with you,
Yeah.
your world. When you create, you understand better yourself and the others. And
Yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
guess it happens to you too.
It's like you're opening a doorway into a new way of learning, like a new uh, kind of, like a new facet of getting into that world, which is I think that's exciting and it's amazing. And people are gonna be I think a lot of people are gonna be refreshed. It's like a fresh thing. It's not your same because we've seen all of the other now we're going to look at it in a different perspective, and it's always good to look at something from a different perspective and different point of view and a new set of eyes from somebody else, because I believe we are always learning, always. We never stop learning. The moment you stop learning is that's it, you're like done, and you don't want to do anything anymore, and you're like just become stagnant. But for us to keep growing, we're always in a constant motion of learning and having this new perspective. It's it's refreshing, and yeah. And I think I always believe you can learn from a 5-year-old the same way you can learn from 105-year-old. So
Yeah.
you always can get something from anybody, and you learn something, even if it's you know.
Oh,
So this is
absolutely.
exciting. I'm excited to read. I know a lot, but I don't know enough. Like, no, I know a lot and I don't know a lot. It's like in life. I know a lot of things and there's a lot of things I still don't know. The same thing with that project. So I know a lot, but I'm excited to actually like a lot to make me more intrigued. Like, yeah, where is it
I know.
going?
I'm looking forward to it, even because unfortunately my process of working is very peculiar. There are people that when they have to do an animation, a film, or a book, they
Yeah,
have precise, they've written everything like the storyboard,
yeah,
precise everything.
yeah,
I
yeah.
have the idea. I know what I want to say. I know how to start and how to end, and not that something will happen in the middle. And while I'm writing, while I'm painting, while I'm doing things, things evolve and change. So while I was working on the graphic novel, I have constantly a question like, and then what happened? Well, something to solve the problem. And yes, but what is it? I don't know yet. I have intuition, I have vision, I have my characters talking in my ear while I'm cooking. Let me go on, and then I will tell you, I will discover it. Like when I was painting something, and then there were details that was like emerging. And people say, why is that? I said, hey, this is a very interesting question. I don't know. I feel right to put it there. I feel right to do it in this way. Without it, meaning it's lost. And they say, yes, I agree. But you have to follow the intuition. You cannot rationalize too much. I don't know how to say it. It's crazy. So whenever I work with someone else, they are a little bit, Andrea, but you risk to, how can I follow you? Don't worry. It's safe. Let's go on. It's like inventing a game. You don't know when you play.
I
You know what you want to play.
totally understand you. This is me. It's chaos. I am a chaotic creative. I happy in chaos.
I love.
It-
You should see my desk right now. I have the cam of my computer embedded there, so I cannot move the Mac. Otherwise, you will see my desk is a stratification of paper, project, drawing, ink spilled everywhere, and from that spilling of inks, a lot of ideas come and everything. I want to show you something that I will use then in a video. Now is the end of the witch. But I removed the.
Ooh,
I found this, the end that the artists use in different position for their
yeah,
drawing and everything, anatomical
yeah,
end.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I bought a new one and then I create all the alchemical symbols and everything. And I
Wow.
created a background story. And I will use the story in the Kickstarter campaign and in the book because I created after the graphic novel and the project is done. But I will add something because I love the story of the end. And now
I love it.
I'm inventing one props,
The
others.
hand of the witch. That's already like,
I like taking pictures. I like doing movie. So whenever I need something, I create it by myself. And I think this process helped me a lot in focalizing the attention on all
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
things. So if you see the picture of the Book of Shadows, there are lots of props here and there. And I have a lot of fun in creating them. I spend a lot of night creating them,
I can.
painting them, experimenting, and it's fun.
You're an explosion of creation. I love it. I love it.
I cannot stop. This is the problem, but it's okay. One day we
Yeah.
have to mix our
So,
life
does
and
anybody have any questions for us?
yeah, exactly. Oh, already 45 minutes. So yes, please, questions. Welcome all the questions. Don't be shy.
We're excited to have you all here. I'm so happy you can all join us.
Absolutely. Someone looks like,
Okay, me.
yeah, please.
So what is this like about? Are you making like a new book? Is that what you're doing? And you've created a new tarot deck?
I already created it. Now
You already created it.
I already finished. I'm in the process to gathering the money to print it because I decided
Oh,
to print everything by myself. So I am independent and I can do whatever I want. So the book will be 200 pages, hardcover. The quality of the paper will be one of the most possible I can have.
yeah.
And is on Kickstarter. I look for the link right now and I give the link to the project. It's a project that is a collaboration with me, Rana, Sasha, Graham, and John Matthews. So everyone give a little
Oh,
bit of
Raina,
magic.
I'm the Lenormand person. I'm not a huge tarot person, but I still use them. But my main system since I discovered
Yeah.
Raina that's all I do. In fact, Raina, I saw you in Portland too.
I remember now. I remember.
Yeah, she did sign my book and she signed my card, so I have that. But I think I'm gonna look at your stuff. But I think Raina is genius. I mean, my whole reading career switched around once I started to do her system.
I agree. I mean,
oh my God.
I agree.
Thank you so much. That really
You're
means
welcome.
that
And
really,
I
means
know you know Heatherly because I work for her. And besides my own business, and she wanted me to teach Lenormand.
Yes,
I
you
said,
could.
so I said, no, I can't. And she goes, you know, Raina told me that she couldn't, she couldn't teach me because, and this is so true, the cards are the cards until they're not the cards. And that's what you were talking about, where your intuition comes in. So I do not read typically very much of what I do. It's the base, like you do tarot. But my intuition just falls into it too much that I could not teach somebody how to do it. I just tell them, just get her book. So
I think you can make classes, and I think you can teach, and I just pulled the card for you, and I got the child, and that means this is something that you can actually start doing, and just do it like you are teaching. Imagine kindergartens, and you will have like a like 5-year-old. Really, this is how I look at it, and this is how our mind, because when we have this mind of anything, tarot, Lenormand, anything, when we look at it like we are 5-year-old, we have this so open and so many possibilities. So I say go and do it, because also the more you teach, the stronger you become.
Right. I know you know V though, but V teaches it a lot there. So I just kind of stay out of that, and I don't know, I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. But so I'm anxious to look you up, Andrea, because I've never heard of you before. So
perfect.
He's an amazing artist. Yes.
Well, I figure if you're attached to him, then it's got to be good. So.
Thank you. I like this way.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you so
amazing.
much.
And thank you for these beautiful words. And yeah, check out his, I always like to end my reading with one card tarot or something. And
that's kind of how I do mine, but I'll do a 3 card. And oh, by the way, I was born in Cincinnati, and I didn't think you lived in Cincinnati. So I learned something about you today too.
Yeah. I
That's
loved it.
pretty cool.
It was the last happiest days of my life with my husband were in Cincinnati before he passed.
I'm sorry about that.
We got really like fell in love, and it was like tough again, when you fall in love again, and we connected. And during COVID, we were like, I'm blessed to have that time with him. I'm blessed to have that. So no, Cincinnati is amazing. And to going back to the Lenormand, I love Lenormand, and I always I don't know, it feels like for me, Lenormand is enough. You don't need, it is enough. And there's something going on between me and this boy over there.
I would like
to. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it right now.
But yeah.
Yeah. So and so his it just, I don't know, sometimes when you finish the reading and then you pull these cards, I pull it doesn't matter, it depends on the person. I either pull 1 card, 3 cards, 2 cards of tarot. It kind of shows them in picture mode, like an affirmation of
exactly,
reaffirm. You gotta
always,
this is what I'm telling you about.
It's a backup, and that's kind of how I use it. Yep. They all play with each other, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the cool thing about me partnering with Andrea is this it has a feel, I know it's all new, but at the same time there is that antiquity feel, and this is what I love, that antiquity. He gives you that antiquity and that mystery, the alchemist, the philosopher's stone, and so it's something intriguing that you have to well,
are you going to announce it when it's out, when it's ready? Will you announce it?
Already has it on Kickstarter. It's already, and the Kickstarter is already, it's funded. I mean, congratulations, Andrea.
I'm really happy. It was founded, Kickstarter is a crowdfunded platform, and I was there, and in 2 days, it was already funded. Now I'm expanding the project, changing a little bit here and there in the process, because the more people comes, the more funding, and then I can spend more in the printing process, in everything. So I can add props, I'm adding other things, and incredible because I can, now I have the funding to create magic scrolls, and I will put it there. So it
Oh,
will
wow.
be incredible, incredible. I'm offering the reproduction of the alchemical book. The film is for everyone, it's there. And there are lots and lots of props. Now I just finished the box. I cannot show it because I have to do the preview as soon as possible. I created a box all painted, created by hand. I'm looking forward to show them to people there. So Kickstarter is an
Where do we find you? Do we go to TikTok? Do we go to
Oh,
Facebook?
yes, I'm everywhere.
Because
From
I found
TikTok,
this off of
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, TikTok, my website. I just wrote here in the chat the link to Kickstarter because there you
Okay.
can read the explanation with the video and explain why I did it, what I did, and how I did it. So
Okay,
it's
good.
2 years of work. I mean,
Good.
quite long. I mean, I spend a lot of time in this project, day and night, but I love it. So it was a dream of mine. So
Great,
I'm so
great.
happy that Rana is with me on board.
All right. Well, I'm excited. Check something new out.
Maybe you can
Go
show us.
go
the
to go to
video.
YouTube. Go to YouTube and check Andrea out.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Bonnie. Yes,
Show
I
us-
have
show
videos
us,
on YouTube too.
Show us a little bit, a few more cards. And I am in a graphic novel, and I think maybe Andrea can show me how he sees me. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh,
let
sweet.
me share the screen. Now, wait, I need to move a little bit of props around because I need a graphic tablet because it's the control of my computer. So
Okay.
I'm here, share screen.
Yeah, wait till you see me, guys.
Let me see if you you should see it. Now I don't see the chat, I don't see anything, so I've lost. Oh, I already found you.
Oh my God, it looks just like her.
It is splendiferous Rana. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
that's beautiful.
I have
That is
lots of fun
beautiful.
drawing you. A lot of fun. So
Yeah,
this-
he even got my
oh, no,
necklaces and my earrings.
Yes,
This
yes.
is, no, wait, the esoterical. I have to look for the right window. This is one of the frame of the graphic novel. Here we can see some of the props and the drawing I did. I mean, let me see. This is the working in progress. We can see here some of the cards.
Oh, look at the death cards.
Yeah, I love that. It was one of my favorite.
Oh, wow.
The bookier they are, the better are for me to draw. This is another part. This is the opening of one of the chapters of the graphic novel with London
Oh, I
in
love
the
that.
past. So I show you something a little bit. This is the drawing I did for the opening of the section with the meaning of the cards. So instead of call it suit, I call it house. So you have the house of coins, of swords, of wands. This is the poster with the alchemist creating the cards with his magic and everything. And here there are all the 4 people. There is me, John, Sasha, and Rana.
Oh,
Everyone transformed in a character of the graphic novel. Let me see what I have here, because this is the one with the picture I share online. Oh, yes, okay. This is one of the pages of the Book of Magic graphic novel, when you have the reversal written on the contrary, of course, so you have to flip the book. And of course, it's reversal. I mean, you cannot read it in a normal way. And then you have some of the meaning of the cards written by John. Then I have here the reproduction of the alchemical books, the Tome of the Alchemist, with the decoding. That is a fantastic, they're a collection of fantastic short stories, but they're about our ability of dream, our ability to open the door of imagination, our ability to interact with tarot. This is a spread for the graphic novel with the speech bubble and everything, with the alchemist is doing his magic. So it's quite peculiar. It's quite a crazy project, I know, but I have a lot of fun in doing it. Oh, this is
beautiful. Just
this
beautiful.
is the opening. So you see the major arcana, and then we have the Fool, the magician, with keywords and the beautiful writing that John did, because John brought in a way that is incredibly magical for me, because I give the deck to John and I said, write whatever you want. And John said, but I need to know what you were thinking about the deck. And I said, no, I give you the deck, you use your intuition, you do what you want, because this will be your meaning, your interpretation, and John Matthews inside the graphic novel telling us what my tarot means, because they have my own meaning, and I talk about them in my videos, online, whatever, and people can understand it, but I wanted in my book there will know my voice will be spread between all the book in the story, but not in the meaning of the tarot. And so for me, this is fantastic, because then John created a writing that is really, really poetical, connected the fantasy world I created with real historical references. And for me, it was incredibly, incredibly magical. I really, really love it. Then there is here one of my favorite characters is Madame Verefkin. She is a tarot reader, future teller, and she is the one to tell the story of tarot to me. And she is model to a dear friend of mine. She is Madame Verefkin in real life. This is one of my best friends with a ghost nearby. That is one of my crazy picture. And it is Hermetisme Esoterique magazine that doesn't exist. So in the book, you see a lot of mixing between real things. So there is John Dee, there is some magic seal, there is everything, but then there are fantasy like this one. This is my explanation on why we have 4 suits connecting with 4 elements, 4 energies, and the suits of the playing cards. So I recreated this burn pages of another tome, and then I explain it and translate it. And I think the game of fantasy is total here, even because the craziest things is that when I created the book, I never thought to create the writing, the deciphering of the book. While I was doing the illustrations, ideas started to come into my mind, and so I wrote it down. And there are 2 layers. In the black, you have the decoding, and red is a fictional professor of a fictional university commenting it. So there are so many levels, so many layers. I think people will have fun in plunging in my world and discover something. I show you a little bit more cards. The 3 of Cups. Then we have the moon. For the major arcana, okay, the minor arcana are modeled on the Rider-Waite deck, classical, while the major arcana are a mix between the Visconti Sforza and the Marseille deck that I prefer for the major arcana. So we have colorful palettes.
I love the Visconti Sforza.
Me too.
Visconti Sforza, I love it.
Is one of the deck I love more. Like this is the sun is coming directly for the Visconti
Oh,
Sforza.
wow.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Instead of having the guy on the horse, I wanted to have this couple embracing and everything. This is the world. With the
Beautiful.
famous orbis terrarum, the orbs of the land, and the wings of the angel that becomes the stars and the planets in the sky, in the universe. So like a mystic being, something more. Let me see something. Oh, a card that I really, really, really love. The Devil.
Wow.
So classical. I didn't censor the card, because in the ancient deck, this is very, very important. The Devil is an hermaphrodite, because he's like the solution of the dichotomy between female and male. He solved the problem of the duality. But in modern deck, because we became so prudish, all the genitals of the devil are wiped out, the bosom, the penis, and I didn't want to do something like that, because it's important for the reading of the card, so I keep it. So, I mean, it's there, if you want to see it, it's there, but it's important, and it's an hermaphrodite. Otherwise,
Yeah.
this is another card where I did a little bit of changing. In the first version, there was the classical man going away from the city and the cups, but then I substitute the man with the sailing ship going toward the open sea. That I thought it was a more poetical image for me. the
You know,
lovers.
your energy reminds me of the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. I think that's
Oh,
there.
I
You
love that film. This is one of the best compliment you can say. That film is the one that I want to live in. This is my world. I would like, I
This
mean,
is
my
who I
studio,
think
my
this is who you are. That is the energy, everything. It makes me the whole time you're talking and showing, and I'm like, I'm just feeling the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yep, I would like to create here in London a bigger space. If I can, one of my ideas is to create a museum for a modern museum where exhibitions are turning with, the idea is the visionarium, with people connected to magic, to childhood, and creating every time something that is completely quirky and outside the standard of what is considered art or what is considered acceptable or classical art. I want to like a mystical multimedia experience, and this is one of my dreams. So let's see, maybe one day.
Anybody else have any questions?
If someone has questions, this is the right moment. Or if you have answer, we can provide the questions too.
Hello. Can't hear you.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, how are
It's
you?
so good to be here. So excited. And
Welcome,
this project
welcome.
sounds so exciting. So exciting. I didn't know about it, but this I looked it up quick starter as you were talking Kickstarter, and it's really looking interesting.
Thank
Ma'am,
you.
I want to know when are you going to be teaching something? Like I want to learn from you. So I want to get enrolled in anything that you're teaching. So I like the Norman, but I'm still not getting a hang of it, and I would love to learn from you.
The
Thank
question is
Please.
for Rana or for me? Sorry.
For Rana, yeah, for Rana, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. I was, yeah. So no, sorry. I mean, it's okay. I mean, not offended. Rana, all
Sorry, but
yours.
I just had to ask you this. Like, this is so exciting, but I just had to ask you.
No
You
problem.
ask me if what? If I'm teaching what?
Lenormand or tarot. I want to learn from you. I actually wanted to learn Lenormand. I didn't know that you were teaching tarot as well. So I want to learn from you.
I teach a lot of stuff. I teach mystical stuff and magical stuff and charms, and I teach a lot of stuff. It's not only the normal, but yeah, I am gonna be doing something soon with the and then maybe we can do like a class with Andrea and teach the
Lovely.
tarot with him with the tarot stuff.
It will be
But
nice.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming. Just keep checking. I'm mostly on Instagram and Facebook. This is the two. It's too much for me, so two is enough. Instagram and Facebook, that's enough. I can barely keep up with those. So keep.
He
just
needs to
follow
get
the-
your book. Get
Hmm?
her book. Get her
I
book
do,
because
I
I
have
taught
your book.
myself
I
from
have
her
your,
book.
okay, I have your book. I have your card. I'm doing it, but
Just
for
read it
Lenormand, I
and
think I
read
need
it
it. Yeah.
and just keep
Okay.
reading it front to back. I must have read it 10 times. I just
Wow.
pulled it. I just
Wow.
pulled it out this morning because I was doing a grand tableau and I wanted to do the deeper meanings. So I had to make sure I was jumping from the houses the right way. So I use her book all the time still.
Thank
Good.
you.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Thank you. Yes, there's I have a lot of things coming up. So just keep watching the this where I am
I do follow you there, friend.
and then we are, you'll see I'll be posting more about them. They're probably the end of the year. There's a
Great.
lot of stuff coming. Yeah.
Great.
And I think
So, and I want
we should do a class, me and Andrea also. So that I think should be fun too.
wow,
Yep, it would be
that'll be
absolutely
great.
fun to
Yeah.
do it. We can experiment a lot because I think when you have two teachers or two different visions of the same matter, it can be, wow, explosion of ideas. Absolutely. I love the idea. We should organize
Can
something together. Absolutely.
Go ahead.
can you just tell me more about the mockumentary? Is what is going to just tell me about the mockumentary? I was looking it up.
Yeah. In the mockumentary, I wanted to recreate the fictional story of tarot. pretending that the tarot were invented by an alchemist, because in this way I can explain better the power of the magic of tarot, analyzing the ideas and everything, creating a logic for that. I like a language. The tarot are another language, like another symbols, another way of talking and analyzing and interpreting reality. And so I wanted to create a fictional story with my deck, but then I intertwine reality with fiction. So I invented fictional character, I interviewed them, but then I went to real expert and I say, okay, let's say if this is real, what you will say? What will be important if it were real? And so there was Mary Greer, that is an incredibly scholar, incredibly, I mean, a very great person.
Amazing.
And
Love
so
her.
historians, I managed to have one of the most important philosopher, British philosopher, Professor Cauldron, now deceased, unfortunately. He was a professor of aesthetics. So we were talking about the concept of beauty in art. And so he made a very interesting analysis about the concept of alchemy, because he wanted to talk about alchemy and art. So I interviewed him here in his house in London, and we had a lot of fun, because what he said is really, really interesting from the philosophical point of view about alchemy. I found it interesting. Is great. I mean, I think fiction can be very, very interesting. Is a tool to understand reality. If we think about science fiction, we think about books that are created taking an assumption and analyzing that assumption, like the Handmaid's Tales. What happens if in the States women lose control rights and they are subjected to men? What happened? This was a science fiction. Now, unfortunately, we see part of the science fiction coming reality in the States, but it was written, was it 20 years ago, something like that? It was unthinkable, but she wanted to analyze a possible future if something like that happened. And what I wanted to do with my film is, okay, I believe in magic. I want to analyze magic and understand it in a better way, like the power of imagination from a philosophical, artistic, and sociological point of view. And then I created a film to answer my questions. A long answer, sorry.
Wow. How cool, how cool it is.
I pulled a card for you, and you got the ring, and that tells me that you need to be committed and you need to keep doing it and just have fun with it. Like fun. Look at, like Andrea stuff.
Thank you, thank you,
So
Thank you, Rana. Thank you to you.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Yay, thank you. Thank you so much. It was so nice. Thank you.
No, thank you to you for the
Have you
question.
noticed when you were talking right now about The Handmaid's Tale and it becoming reality, have you noticed like so many things that we put up in sci-fi after like so many years, it becomes reality because we put it into the collective, and especially when we do so much, like for example, now we all have iPads, and it was back then in Star Trek, they were always carrying the looks like iPad, and now everybody is the same thing.
Absolutely.
So have you guys noticed that it's like, what are we gonna have zombies?
I hope not.
Everything, is becoming reality because of the mind is so powerful that what we imagine, and we imagine a collective people watching the same thing and thinking about the same thing. We create it, and it becomes reality.
What glued together all the different part of the project and enlightened me was a book that I discovered by chance of a philosopher, an American philosopher. I mean, he was teaching in America. He's not American. He's from Romania. It's called Culiano. He wrote a very interesting book. It's called Eros and Magic in the Renaissance. And his idea is that magic is a science of the imagination. And he analyzed Giordano Bruno, a lot of Italian philosopher of the Renaissance, explaining how Eros, in the way Plato envisioned it, and magic intertwined. So the connection of the bond, the vinculis of creating magic and how magic works. And that opened me a lot of doors, because the idea that magic is a science of the imagination, it's exactly what I want to do. It's exactly my way of magic. And so when I have a philosophical routine of my ideas, I mean, I study philosophy at university, but I delve in philosophical, in magic writing, but a little bit when you do history of philosophy. then it was not my main study. Now I'm going back to all these kind of philosophers, and I'm discovering so many interesting things, and I can use and I can do, and it's great.
It is.
Rob and Bonnie have wrote something, so thank you for your words. Really excited about the project. Me too. I'm looking forward to have it printed in my hands because I really want to. And
Me
then
too.
you both, yes, this is a fantastic project. Yes, I thank you, everyone that is helping me to realize it, and I thank you, Rana, to be part of it because it's
an amazing,
dream.
all right, it's amazing. I know, when you called me and you text, I was like, yes, because I remember your work in Portland, and I loved it, and I loved your mind and how your mind works and how it goes, and it's so many different, like it's really like the rabbit hole, like really, but with dimensions and different realities and all of that kind of stuff, which we didn't have a chance to talk about, but yeah, you'll see it in the
Yep. Yes, we cannot. I mean, there are so many things that I would like to talk. I can't because I don't want to say that. I mean, I don't want to solve the question, solve the problem.
Yeah.
It is interesting that everyone will read it, will discover their own way of tarot and magic. So,
anybody else for last question?
The last question.
No one?
No one. Okay, then we say hello to everyone. Thank you, Rana, to accept the invitation to talk about this project.
I hope you guys enjoyed our talk.
Thank you so
I'm gonna
much.
go find you now. So
Okay.
gotta go look for you.
Spread the voice. I'm existing. I'm always in my tower creating. So I need someone to say, he's existing, he's creating.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna pull the last card here for all of us here. And I got the dog and the heart. And this is like, trust and believe in you. Trust and believe in your own your own passion. And that's what's important. Follow your passion. He's following his passion, and whoa, let's see what you got. What did you get?
The King of Coins. Yes, correct.
The
idea of mastering your reality, being grounded in your realm, in your being.
If we put this and the King of Coins together, follow your passion to create your own reality and manifest the King of Coins.
Yes, this is the best closure ever. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.